So Sébastien Gérard is a research director at the French Alternative Energies and Atomic Energy Commission, or CEA, and is leading the key research program on digital collaborative and cognified engineering of the LIST Institute. He is working on research issues related to correct by construction development of complex and trusted systems and software for more than 20 years. His research interest includes an impressive list of topics I won't detail here, but interestingly, Sébastien has been the CEA representative at the OMG for more than 20 years, involved more particularly in the standardization of modeling languages such as UML and SciSML. And he also leads the open source project Papyrus and represents here LIST on the board of directors of the Eclipse Foundation. And he's told today he will present us SciSML v2 and Papyrus next generation. So thanks to be with us, Sébastien.
My presentation that will follow, I will tell you about SysML video. It was introduced, the new incoming major release of the OMG Object Management Group, which provide a new system engineering standard modeling language. Then I will tell you about our vision at CA LIST, about the next generation of MBSE tool we plan and where we are and where we go. First of all, let me introduce CA and my institute inside CA, the CA LIST. CA is the French Alternative Energies and Atomic Energy Commission. It is a key player in technological research. It was acknowledged as the most innovative public research organization in Europe and the second worldwide in 2020. Some key figures to outline CA. It's about 16,000 people. It produces many research publication and communication and patents every year. Budget is higher than 4 billion euro, and we are working with more than 600 industrial partners. CA is making research, development, and innovation in 4 main areas: defense and security, low carbon energies, fundamental research in both physical science and life science, and technological research for industry. I am working in that specific area at CA in a direction called DRT for Direction de la Recherche Technologique. Within this direction, I'm working in an institute called CEA LIST for Laboratory for Integration of Technologies and Systems. CEA LIST is committed to technological innovation in digital systems. It gathers more than 900 engineers and researchers, including more than 100 PhD students. So we are very focused on research on that aspect. Our work goes from academic domain to industrial domain. It is one of the singularity of the CEA Research Technological Organization, which is very connected to industries via our numerous industrial partnerships. Our budget is greater than 100 million euro, and 75% of this budget is coming from external resources. The institute is mainly located in the area named Paris-Saclay, but we have also some offices in Grenoble in south of France. The key topic, the strategy for the R&D of CEA LIST is organized around 5 flagship programs on the left and 5 key applications area on the right. I am leading the 5th flagship program, which is about augmented engineering and conified tools. And my presentation will show you some presentation in that area. So the presentation is split in 2 parts. The first part is dedicated to the OMG and SysML v2, sorry, the next major version of the OMG system modeling language. I dwell on it because it is expected to change the MBSE world. It is expected to have a significant positive impact on the widespread adoption and development of MBSE in industries by correcting the now well-known flaws of its current version, SysML v1. Then the second part is focused on our vision at CA LIST on MBSE landscape and its related method and tooling strategy, considering SysML v2 as one of its foundational pillars. I will illustrate our strategies through some short demo of proof of concept we started to implement last year. So the Object Management Group, OMG in short, is an international open membership and non-profit technology standard consortium. It was founded in 1989. It hosted several special interest groups focused on verticals such as health or science, or on specific concerns such as IoT and, for what is concerning us today, system engineering. This latter group, called SEDSIG, System Engineering Domain Special Interest Group, was launched in 2001, and it's coordinating its activity very closely with the MBSC group of INCOSE via its common leader, who is Sandy Friedenthal. Its mission is to support the evolution of MBSC standards via three main strategical actions: providing a standard system modeling language to develop complex products, services, and systems, considering all concerns involved all along their life cycle, from development to retired. Facilitating integration of both system and software engineering systems. And finally, promoting rigorous engineering and empower multidisciplinarity. The main standards that were issued in this context were, of course, SysML, UAF for the Unified Architecture Framework, which includes some architectural frameworks such as MODAF and DODAF, and SysML extension for physical interaction and signal flow simulation. This latter standard specification is defining how to make interoperate SysML models with physical models such as MATLAB or Modelica models. SysML is then an international standard of the OMG, but it is also an ISO standard. In terms of modeling concept, it's covering all the knowledge areas as defined in the INCOSE System Engineering Book of Knowledge, considered by many to be the reference in system engineering community. For the next decade and beyond, it is expected that SysML v2 will boost the adoption and effectiveness of MBC and digital engineering more generally, thanks in part to a semantic mapping, to formal logics, leading to have a precise language, and then reducing ambiguities in models and collaboration, but also enabling real digital automation and modeling assistance. A prototype-based approach applied to define the language itself will enable to improve consistency and integration between the concepts of the language. The definition and implementation of an open standard API will foster true interoperability with other engineering models and tools. In order to improve its user experience, SysML v2 is defined following a rigorous model-based process driven by user needs and given concrete use cases. So detailed concrete use cases are first defined in the users group of the SST team, and their support is then implemented in the language. Let's notice that the team working on that SysML v2 version, called SST for SysML Submission Team, is made of more than 100 members coming from more than 70 organizations. The plan to deliver SysML v2 is as following. It started in December 2017. Initial version is available since 2020. By the way, it's publicly available. You can read and comment and participate. Currently, there are monthly releases publicly available, as I said previously, on the Git repo of the team. I will show it later. And the final submission is planned to be at the end of the year. And formally, the final specification, pending for OMG approval and vote, is expected for end of 2022. Here is an outline of the team itself. So you see there is a lot of industrial, academic, tool provider, end user, and so on. SysML v2 relies on 7 main modeling capabilities. First modeling capability is its ability to deal with requirement engineering, including means to model requirements, constraints, and some traceability. Second is focus on analysis. It provides means to model analysis cases in general and provide an expression language. Then it proposes rigorous concepts to support modeling of both individuals and snapshots that usually is complex situation to model. View and viewpoint are also available in order to model architecture framework as defined in the ISO 4210. And finally, structure and behavior modeling are supported by the two last capabilities. Structure enables decomposition, interconnection, and classification, while behavior enables either function-based or state-based behavior modeling. The three key elements of the SysML v2 design are the definition of the SysML itself is based on a new meta model. Its meta model that is hence not constrained by the UML1 as it was the case for SysML v1. Remember, this later was designed as a UML profile. It was useful because it was possible to implement SysML v1 on top of an existing UML tool, but it was requiring the UML tool to be highly customizable. Of course, this new meta model is indeed very close to the UML2 meta model, but with a focus on system engineering concern. The new SysML v2 meta model is natively formal, while being grounded in formal semantics via its intermediate formal modeling language called KRML. This latter point is capital for several reasons. To name just two, for example, to perform analysis and verifications, it is fundamental to have a formal model to work with if one wants reliable and deterministic results. Secondly, in the context of complex system development, to automate certain part of the engineering process or to provide intelligent assistance to the users of the tools, using, as for example, AI techniques, it is important to be able to trust the robotization of the process and tools, and it can be only achieved by formal language used to denote the model. The second key element of SysML v2 is its notation support that thanks to a flexible view and viewpoint specification and execution. The notation will be, as for SysML v1, tabular and graphical, but also SysML v2 will provide a textual version of the language. And finally, in order to enable interoperability, they define, and it's part of the request for proposal, they define a standard API to access the SysML v2 model. So here is the address of the GitHub where you can see and download everything. So it contains all the release, all the documentation, specification. It contains a prototype of the pilot implementation of SysML v2 that is mainly based on Xtext, and you have graphical view using they use the plant UML tool to render some graphical view. And you have three repo where you can download the API. You can directly go to this server if you want to test online, but you can also install everything and test locally on your machine. So once we have seen, once we have an overview of what is coming on the OMG side with SysML v2, let's see what we at CList plan in that context and in the more general case of augmented system engineering. Before switching to the demonstration of our current work around our MBSE future tools, I would like to introduce you the background that has the rationale for this work. First, we did the following observation. The impact of our technical debt becomes too high and increases consequently the development cost for bringing improvement or innovation in our tools. In the one hand, the internal debt itself, in its current version, Papyrus accumulates more than 15 years of development, which comes inevitably with some technical debt due to historic design choices. In the second hand, the external debt of Papyrus is also becoming a problem. By external debt, I mean the technological components we are using to build Papyrus, and that either becomes obsolete or even deprecated, as for example, for GMF or GMF tooling. Based on this observation, at the beginning of last year, we worked on defining a new strategy in order to ensure excellence of CL-list in the domain of system engineering method and tools. This vision shall be achieved via 2 specific missions and 5 goals. The first mission will consist in developing a radically new MBEC platform. Temporarily, we call it PNG. This is the internal name to speak about it, including based on new technology like AI, web, cloud, formal techniques, big data, or even blockchain, supporting new scientific paradigm like codification, collective intelligence, and formal method, and taking into account lessons learned. This new platform shall be able to address new emerging usage as for example, sustainable system engineering. The second mission, in the meantime, will be to develop this new platform while we'll maintain the legacy one in order to bridge the gap between the 2 versions of the platform. And when the new platform will be ready, we will provide means to transition between the legacy and the new platform. In front of this strategic vision, we put 2 missions. The first one is to enable collectives to solve complex problems for which an holistic, innovative, and sustainable approach is needed. The second one is to enable collective to design system according to the same vision. And to make these 2 missions concrete, we define the 5 following goals. First of all, and as always, we did the choice of standards, and then we decided to rely on both SysML v2 and KML as the foundation of our new MBEC platform. Second, in order to help users managing the complexity of the system to design or problem to solve, and to help them using the tools, we will provide cognitive assistance via integration of various AI technology. Then we will bet on the strength of collective intelligence to face tomorrow's challenge, and the platform will therefore support collaborative work in all its forms and practices. Of course, one tool or even one platform is never the silver bullet, and anyway, you always have a legacy to handle. The platform shall be highly accessible, open, and interoperable. Finally, since last year on the first period of confinement, it has become clear that we are dependent on software technology and that this may have harmful consequences. Our last objective will be to contribute to the development of this new platform to French and European sovereignty. One of the first means envisaged will be to contribute this work in open source and to be very active in the development of the ecosystem. The first demonstration of this part will be on the development of a new MBEC workbench for SNCF Réseau. The context of this project is a need to have an MBEC workbench to specify and validate computer-basis interlocking system, in short CBI system. 2 objectives are to be met: enable engineers of SNCF Réseau to formally specify CBI parameters and control logic, and enable them also to formally validate a CBI using both formal proof and simulation-based strategy. Let's see the video. The second demonstration of my talk will be on the ongoing modernization of the Papyrus graphical editors. In fact, in order to manage one of the technology we are using and that becomes deprecated, not to name it GMF tooling, we started by fall of last year to port our graphical editors toward a more sustainable technology. The objective of this work were fourfold. First, we started analyzing the technological candidates that could replace GMF tooling. Then, we integrate this later inside Papyrus, and we extend it to support specific Papyrus features. Finally, we targeted for this contract to port 3 of the Papyrus UML diagram editors: class diagram, sequence diagram, and state machine diagram editors. End of the suspense. You might have guessed it already, but Sirius was the technological framework chosen. At the day, the Sirius engine has been successfully integrated, enabling to have Sirius editors running in Papyrus. Transfer of specificities of Papyrus inside the Sirius engine and porting of the 3 editors is ongoing and will be finished for fall 2021. And now I will show you a demo of the ongoing work. Within the demo, you will see the 3 editors, so the class diagram first. So here it is the current class diagram editor based on the GMF tooling. And just after, you see you can compare it with the class diagram implemented with Sirius. As you can see, we have reused and reconnected the property view of Papyrus. Here it is the sequence diagram of Papyrus, so the current one, the legacy one, I would say. And then next you will see that we started to redesign it using Sirius also. And finally, the state machine diagram editors. As you can see here, it is the specificities of Papyrus state machine editors, where you can have region of the state machine either horizontally or vertically, and with the level of refinement you want. So this is the current version with GMF tooling, and next you will see the next version using Sirius. For state machine, we are very close to the end of the work, as you will see. It looks like very similar, but based on Sirius. Faced to system complexity, MBEC and their tools are not an option. We and other active actors of the domain, such as OBEO, already published use case stories demonstrating the advantage of applying MBEC and using the related tools in some industrial domains. However, its general adoption is still slow and not generalized in every domain and in every industry. MBEC is still often confidential, reserved for advanced industries in the field of system engineering and generally for large companies, whereas it could also be very useful for SMEs. Several issues are listed as rational for this limit, as for example, interoperability, expressiveness, accessibility, steep learning curve. But one general issue raised by users is the complexity of tools and the cost to acquire and deploy them. AI is useful for a lot of domains, so why not for MBEC tools? Following the idea of Kevin Kelly in his book, The Inevitable, we will call this paradigm the conification of MBEC software tools. In fact, Kevin Kelly defined conification to be the process of making objects and systems, in our case MBEC tools, smarter and smarter by connecting and integrating sensors to be aware of the context and feed a reasoning process for building and building artificial intelligence into them that, thanks to the context, can be sound and efficient. The global idea is then to increase the impact of MBEC tools and their acceptance and widespread deployment at industrial level. Will be to codify MBC tools. This way, we expect to bridge the gap between the tool and their user. At the end, we have augmented engineers capable of solving more complex problems by inventing new digital systems while managing their complexity with confidence. But it will not only be a question of increasing individuals, but also, above all, groups of individuals, because it's collectively that we will manage complexity. We'll foster collective intelligence, especially hybrid collective intelligence, gathering humans and digital assistants. The goal of this presentation, of this next demonstration, will be around a work performed by one of my PhD, Maxime Savary-Leblanc, in collaboration with Xavier Le Pallec from the Lille Université. The vision carried by Maxime in his PhD thesis is that one way to achieve codification of MBEC tools is by introducing digital engineering assistant. On the one hand, a digital engineer assistant shall be able to acquire knowledge and consolidate it. By knowledge, we mean data with semantics, including context information. On the other hand, it shall interact and collaborate with a human engineer to help authoring his models. The interaction with the engineer is very important to provide the right information, but at the right time and in the right form, so that it is productive and not counterproductive. The following demonstration will focus on this work integrated within Papyrus. In this example, the engineering digital assistant you will show shortly helps the modeler to create a conceptual model by searching in its knowledge base the best similar model element and propose additional model information that could make sense for the selected model element. Let's see the video.
Hi, today I'm going to introduce the modeling assistant embedded in the Papyrus environment. To start, let's create a class named Plane. The modeling assistant is triggered with the shortcut Shift backspace. Then, the user interface is displayed and immediately provides attributes recommendations for the class Plane. Each line can be hovered to get more information about each recommendation. On each line, we can see 4 different indicators with different colors, which represent each individual scores. These values are aggregated into a general confidence score displayed on the right. On the line, we can also see the name of the attribute, as well as a type selector and a multiplicity selector. Each individual score provides different information about the attribute which is currently reviewed. At this point, our model only contains the class Plane with no attributes. Then, only 2 of the indicators, the first one and the second one, are useful. The first one relates to the in-class recurrence. Here, for instance, we see that 14.5% of classes Plane contain the attribute model. The second one relates to in-class exclusivity. We see that the attribute model is not exclusive to the class Plane. Indeed, Plane is only 1.8% of the usage of the attribute model. As we browse the recommendations, we see the indicators with different colors and then different information. For this slide, let's add a capacity. Now that we have added an attribute to this class, we can see the indicator about attribute synergy. Here, we see that the attribute ID has a high synergy with the attribute capacity. This means that both attributes appear together in different classes. For this plane, let's add a type. We can close the modeling assistant by pressing the key Escape. Now, let's create a class named Flight. Now that we have created another class in the model, we can see that the 4th indicator now works, which relates to context similarity. Here, we can see that in 10 models, which share both classes Flight and Plane, the class Flight contains the attribute date. Let's add the attribute number. We can also add an arrival time. Then, we want to add a departure time. However, we see that the type is string. We can change it by clicking the type selector and choosing date, which is only 4% recommended. Our modeling assistant also recommends types and selects the most recommended one by default. Once the type is changed, we can add the departure time. In this third class, we can browse attributes and see that almost all attributes have a high context similarity indicator. This means that as the model gets more and more precise, recommendations are updated and refined.
So if you want to foster collective intelligence, one of the key points of complexity management I just mentioned, you need efficient collaborative tools. In the context of Papyrus, in its current version, collaboration is achieved via its connection with CDO. In the last 2 years, in the context of the previous industrial project with SNCF Réseau I presented earlier, and in collaboration with Heike Stepper, we have contributed to improve CDO and its integration inside Papyrus. I'll not demo this aspect today, but if you want to experiment it, I encourage you to go to the Papyrus Git repo. Another possibility, another way to create tools for collaborative work is through web technologies. But do we have web-ready technologies for MBSE tools? In her talk of tomorrow, Melanie Batz, CDO of OBEO, will speak about what's new in Sirius and especially Sirius Web. But today I will show you in advance, like a teaser, some demonstration, some proof of concept we did with OBEO last year, at the end of last year, to implement our first web-based editor for SysML v2. So 4 short video. First, 2 editors, 2 diagram editors for definition, package definition, and part usage. So to connect, we use, for this example, the Web OBEO platform. And for this proof of concept, we have used the pilot implementation of the SST tool. SysML submission team. So here you can see a kind of, I would say, block definition diagram. Here it's a part usage diagram example. The next video will illustrate the activity diagram editor. And so two last video, short video. So one for it's a form-based editors for package part definition and part usage. Another way to visualize to show visually new representation. So we will have a form for package part definition. Another form for package part usage definition. So this is the standard form editor of Sirius Web, and we have also done a specific editor for the directions, for example, to see how it was easy to customize the tool to implement specific editors for this kind of visualization. And the last demonstration, the last video, is also to show some different means to visualize or to create diagram. It was inspired from the Scratchy tool, and because we thought it was very useful as a representation to model activity. And it was also a means to test Sirius Web in order to see his ability to model or to have a modeler with very specific way to represent information. So here, of course, it's a proof of concept, but it's a proof that we can do it. So it's not only a read-only diagram, but it's also, as you will see, a read and write view. And you can implement the different concept of the activity. So this is my last video, and this is the end of the presentation. I thank you for your attention, and I also thank the organizer for the invitation.
In what way is the SysML v2 language specification compatible with the current SysML specification?
It won't be fully compliant, but within the specification there is an annex to go from V1 to V2. So the conversion from V1 model to V2 will be a standard also, will be part of the standard. There are some differences in terms of the concept for sure, in terms also for the notation, but not so big. Only the one that was flow in the current version.
Wilbert learned that the behavioral modeling will be based on a state machines supported by formal verification methods. Does the language allow some kind of selection of verification tools, or as one particular implementation?
Today there is no specific tools. It's a language, so when you have a state described, you will have to define the transformation in the targeted language you use. If you use Petrinet, as for example, for formal verification, you will have to make the transformation between the state machine model and the Petrinet formalism, or the UPAL formalism, or whatever state-based formalism you use for checking, for formal verification. But you will be able to reuse, because of course state machine of SysML v1 are not fundamentally different from SysML v2.
Is there a relationship to former OBO UML SysML designer?
No.
Okay. Yes. Thanks for this short answer.
In fact, we didn't reuse the OBO UML designer implementation because there were specificities inside Papyrus that need to do some work in addition. And so the partner we are working with prefer to go from scratch.
Okay, thanks. I think you already answered the next question on the chat, but is there any timing diagram planned?
It's part, yes, we implement the three I mentioned earlier in my presentation: class, state machine, and sequence. Because class, it was one which is the first one to be available. State machine is also very used, and sequence diagram is, I would say, very touchy. So if we can implement sequence diagram, we will be very confident to implement the others. And so in the second round, we will implement the remaining diagram editors, hopefully for beginning of next year.
Okay, thanks. And the last question, is there examples of OBO Cloud Platform's diagrams available in Salus Web? I'm not sure you can answer this one.
No.
Okay, but
a priori, the SysML v2 editors we did are not yet publicly available, but should be soon, I would say.